I know. That's why it sounded like this at course. I was like, what is this?
I don't have anything important to say.
Okay. Okay, so we press this button, and it should be on. Is it working?
Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing.
okay, cool. Can I just have to go for thank you? Thank you for coming to see me in this room. I can't believe it. Thank you. All these faces are stunning and kind and lovely. So just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. This is my first time. I'm
so excited to be with you today. And I know it's almost like a family reunion of sorts because maybe Billy is your cat.
Of course, my papa's here. I wouldn't be here without him. I mean, besides the show, he's who I called and I said, Ethan, I want to start engaging. I want to get back out there and get out of my house. And he was like, you're coming with me, kid.
I love that.
So, yes, he's the best.
Yes, have you guys hung out since being here and all? Like,
Oh, honey, all those crazy delays yesterday, I barely made it in. So I'm hoping I see him later today.
Good.
In fact, I am. I think it's even on the schedule.
well, Castle was obviously such a big thing during its run. How would you say being a part of that show just changed your life?
Well, that's the phrase for it, right? It changed my life. I had done one other movie called A Christmas Carol with Robert Zemeckis, which is how I even got to Los Angeles from Texarkana, Texas. And then I got to audition for this show about a girl kind of living the best life imaginable with a caring but fun dad and all this autonomy and free time. So it completely shaped my character and allowed me to travel, and it opened up the world for me. So I really owe it everything.
I love that. Well, I feel like you're such a chameleon as an actor in like the best way because you'll pop up with something like, oh my gosh, wait, I know her from this, I know her from that, I know her from that. Do you get that a lot when you're out in public? Like, wait, how did I know you? Cool thing.
You know what actually happens to me in the world is people go, hey, you went to school with my daughter Shanna. From Portugal to Dallas to Los Angeles. I always get, hey, you know my aunt, or you're friends with my cousin. And I always go, you know what, you might have seen me on your TV. And I bet we were about the same age and we would have been friends. But yeah, so it's always Castle. I think when those other things come up, gosh, I've just been such a little bee, kind of going to all these little flowers and trying these different parts. But Castle is that main magnet, as it should be. Like, you know, it's drawing in new people all the time. So like, yeah, I'm very happy with that. It's my favorite reaction. I really love it.
On your Instagram page, I loved like noticing that you were always saying, hey, you just audition, you're like taking your time with that process. So
You like it? Yeah, it's all right.
why is that important for you to just kind of get glimpses of that?
Thank you for asking me that.
Sure, yeah.
So, I think like a lot of people, I wondered, what is this social media for? And what did I do when I was younger that helped me? And how could I possibly help other people in a very minimal way? Because there's not a tremendous amount of effort, but it's this wonderful tool of connection. And growing up without watching, performances by Dakota Fanning and Man on Fire, I never would have seen what to me at the time felt like a doppelganger and go, oh, I can do that. So I thought that by letting people into the process, especially as an actor who I've already been on a show for 8 years, I've done blockbuster movies, I produced with my own production company now, and I audition because I want to make another character, I want to have another thing, and I hope that it encourages, especially because with self-tape, actors can live anywhere and work from anywhere, that they don't get discouraged. That they say, this is actually fun. Have fun with it. I know it takes a lot of stop work. Because I think there's that feeling of, oh, a success should stop a certain type of thing. And that's just not the reality as a self-starter, as a person who, did this completely, like I said, from Texarkana to Los Angeles. I didn't have anyone in the business, right? So as a self-starter, you've got to be out there. You've got to be hustling, auditioning, and I think that's fun. Yeah, so that's why I share, to encourage, hopefully, other people. And also when I get comments back, I'm encouraged. So I'm encouraged by everyone hearing and seeing that. So it's a little self-serving. But there's a bit of a there, so.
Has the audition process gotten doing for so long?
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Auditioning is the best place to practice.
Okay.
And because you're always going to, when you eventually book the thing, it's like 100-to-1. There's a bit of gambling in there, I'm a little crazy and very competitive. With every audition, if I'm really being open-minded and I'm trying different things, for the part that I book, I go, oh, I get this really funny thing, and that would work here. So it's always a time for me to be kind of like adding little details to my Rolodex of what are the things that take the character off the page and turn it into a real three-dimensional character.
Well, one of my favorite parts is like yours is really crazy. And of course it has like
What would Frodo do?
but it has like so many amazing comedic talents in that. Jason today, because you get friends and your parents are like laughing at them. Absolutely. How are you like not breaking character well on set with them, just like in awe, like witnessing in action? Like was there a lot of improvisation as well, or?
First off, I was 100% in awe. 100% in awe. I was such a super fan of that entire cast, including Will Poulter.
Oh my gosh, he's
Who, I watched in a movie called Son of Rambo when he was 13. So I had seen it years before auditioning for this, and he was, I remember him reading Maze Runner when we were in the crew van because he was getting ready to do it. Sorry, I'm so floored by the choices he's made in his career. So yes, every day, and why that movie I think is so funny is because all I saw between takes was punch-ups. People like Jason rewriting, making it better, talking with the director, talking to each other, saying, let's give this a take. We went over, we shot very late, and it was always worth it. And how did I keep from breaking? I didn't. I ruined so many takes. And I felt so bad, but thankfully, they were so funny over and over again that we got what we got for the movie.
honestly, that's so rough, because I think all of us and you.
How can you not? Yeah, because all their friends were coming to set to visit too, so there were just more people always coming in. Oh my gosh, that's Olivia Wilde. That's chill. I'm gonna go try to do this scene now.
How is that not intimidating?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. That's it. Full stop. It just is.
Fair enough. You were in The Life of Chuck last year, which is a film that, in my opinion, did not get the attention it deserved. It kind of went under the radar for a lot of people.
Has anyone seen The Life of Chuck?
That's what I'm saying. This whole room should be raising their
Let's
hand.
keep. We're gonna keep. It's on Hulu. Yeah, we're restoring the stew. It's available on Hulu. Tom Hiddleston, Karen Gillan.
Very nice.
Watch it with your family. Think about what matters for them anyway. So ask the question.
No, it's okay. Because that's something that shocked you, like knowing that, okay, this film didn't get the attention.
I'm really pleased with the attention that we did get. Of course, we premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival, and we were true independent. This movie was directed by Mike Flanagan, but it was not a studio. My company, Quagmire, produced this film, so it was all bets on the table. This has to work. We got Mark Hamill, so how can it not? Point. It's okay. It's going to wrap around because we were saying that so true independent. We raised this money. We're really hoping we get to premiere at TIFF. Oh my God, that's already enough. That's huge. It's a great market. And then we won the Audience Choice Award. Unreal. So to me, the reception that The Life of Chuck got was beautiful and really honestly blew us away continuing to resurface because
Yeah.
it is a movie that will just go better with age.
I think so too. Yeah.
Thank you for
People will
asking.
find it. Yeah. Well, I mean, you talked about your production company a little bit. Tell us a bit about that journey, getting behind the scenes and doing that, because I think that's a really smart thing for all actors to be behind the scenes and doing the productions.
They're good at it.
Yeah.
They're good at it. You know what? That's also because of Castle. You know, like I said, I became an actor professionally because I saw Dakota Fanning and I thought, oh, okay, I can do that. There's a place for me. And when I was on the set of Castle, it was produced, we had a group of great producers, one of them being Lori Zacks. And I got to see a woman producing. And I got to see it when I'm 14. And I'm watching her look at our guest stars' auditions, and she let me kind of look over her shoulder, and she would include me and say, well, what do you think about this? And so over the years, because she invited me in and allowed me to kind of learn while doing, that's what opened the doors.
It's amazing. Well, we have to talk about the MCU because you were in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Much
She knows.
Thank you.
But your character had the same name as you. Did that ever get confusing? I mean,
I didn't know she had a name until I saw the credits.
Oh.
I was just a green Ravager.
Yeah.
That's what I was, a green Ravager. And that was so cool. Zoe Saldana is like being in her presence. Holy cow. It's like being blessed by the sun.
She's so lovely. We're lucky to meet her. But yeah, any memorable behind the scenes moments from that experience? Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you.
I hope y'all have been hearing me okay. I'm sorry if I've been soft-spoken. Okay,
I
thank
feel
you.
like we've been pretty loud, actually. By ourselves.
Okay, if you're saying it, then I feel okay. I mean, I have so many fun memories on both Guardians 2 and Guardians 3. This is really special to me. In both of those, I share screen time with my husband, Alon Gale, who's sitting right there. And our friendship and our courtship and our relationship started through our mutual friend, James Gunn. So he who also officiated our wedding almost 2 years ago now. Yeah. So the family created from that world is obviously what's like the sweetest to me. And being on set for Guardians 2, when you're on a set like that and they brought in all the snow and he had all this custom neon built, you know, it's what you actually want it to be when you're a kid. And then when you're lucky enough to get to set, you're like, oh, it's a dental office. I love doing this commercial. Great. You're really wanting to get to those Titanic sets, you know, those big ones. So even being like friends with James and getting to go visit, and then because of proximity, him just being like, yeah, okay, get her over here. Yeah, Molly, yeah, you want to do this? Okay. And then having that ball there be Howard the Duck, you know, in that first just little piano, who is a character I love. I love Seth Green. I truly believe in like a reboot of that franchise by itself. Was so cool. And they put a bunch of dirt on my face, which no one ever does. And then I think a really fun memory from Guardians 3 was passing out the uniforms. I meant to like pass everyone in uniform. I'm working with Stallone. And Stallone does what he wants to do, as he should.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's Sly, right? So I'm needing to move around him and get everyone their suits in order. But he kept changing his route. So I'm like, and at one point we actually bumped into each other, but I needed to stay in character. So I was just like, and I was like, thank God some instinct kicked in, because inside I was like, I'm so sorry. But of course, he's the nicest guy. And obviously we love Karen Gillan, who's in the life of Chuck and a great friend. So yeah, those are just some of those memories. Working with the costume team, like just getting to wear that costume, and I had that fun short haircut at that time too. So I felt like I got to be like the full tomboy version of myself that I was growing up in Texarkana, Texas, before they glammed me up.
Here we are. Well, you voiced a character in this club.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bloom, Fairy of the Dragonflame.
Yeah. tattoos? Because there's a lot of them out there.
Really?
I'm guessing no.
I haven't, and I love tattoos.
Okay.
I haven't dug in. Do you have one?
No. There's like a bunch of people with tattoos. But how was that experience for you? Because you're letting a voice, it's a whole different type of acting.
Absolutely, and that cartoon is originally Italian, and so for the first, I think, 2 to 4 seasons, we were dubbing the original animation. So I technically needed to have those scripts memorized, because a big difference between voiceover and live action is the freedom of not having to be off the page. But when you're needing to lip sync, you kind of need to be off the page. No one told me that. I kind of discovered that like day one and was very grateful that I could speed memorize. And the skill of that and having to improvise, because we would have to like shorten lines, truncate something where they would say, all right, Molly, it's not really fitting, say it with your words. And working with adults in that capacity, because I was a teenager doing that show, showed me that I had a lot of good ideas and gave me a lot of agency. And I love Bloom. I love that she has one of the purest hearts that I think any cartoon character especially has. Yeah, she puts her friends and family first, even if that means she has to take herself out of the situation. She always puts others' needs before her own.
Have you seen the Netflix live action version?
Yeah. I have.
Okay, what about that?
I think it's beautiful. I loved it. I hope they'll make more.
Wasn't it canceled?
But maybe they'll do a different reboot. They could. Talk to somebody. Okay, so low-key, I auditioned for the reboot.
Oh.
I auditioned for that.
Okay.
But she was meant to be high school, so even like I begged them. I was like, guys, I know I'm 28, at the time, right? Like I know I'm looking in my 20s, I can't really do 16 anymore. But please, I did this, her voice, for so long. And so getting to go in there, I did the audition scene for those who know the show, and I think the actress who played Bloom was incredible. I wouldn't change a thing about how they did it, and I wish they'd kept doing it. But that scene where she's looking at her parents and talking to them, and she knows it's her goodbye. She's just a good egg. She's a good egg, and I loved how they did it, and I loved getting to audition with that scene. It felt like putting a button on, it's like a pause. Because what's I think great about the new TV landscape is that things come back. There's so many more stories to tell. So the door's open, and my wings are ready.
You're ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. You have a green belt in karate.
I do not.
Okay.
I did karate as a kid, as a child actor. Oh my God.
A little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we get that in. There's some rules that we can use. Let's go.
I did a one-handed cartwheel on Castle once when we played laser tag. If you remember like those fun scenes, those were always the best. That was the best. Whenever there was laser tag on the call sheet, I was like, oh, I'm not working today. Great.
When thinking about your acting career, is there a particular role that kind of helped you grow, not just as an actor, but as a person the most?
Wow. No, it's lovely. It's a lovely question. It's such a lovely question. How can it not be Alexis? I grew up in tandem with this amazing girl. And I loved her differences. I loved her analytical brain. And I loved where we came together with our fierce loyalty to those we love. And that helped me look for love in my real life and to recognize that you can do all these things and you can be busy with work, but if you're coming home to an empty nest, I don't know, what's it all for? So I love my job, and I'm really grateful to Alexis and Rick for showing me a version of love and things to look for in the people that I keep around in my life. So thank you, Alexis.
Q&A, if anybody has questions, it looks like there's a microphone there if anybody wants to come up and ask.
No pressure.
I'll ask the first question. Okay, so we saw you grow up on Castle. It was amazing. How did you get that part? And what was your audition process like then versus what it is now?
These are good questions. What's your name? Kim, nice to meet you. Okay, so my audition process for Castle was I got the pilot, and I read the pilot, and I had my 2 scenes. It was the one in the pilot where I say, you're going to sign their chest, and then it was the conversation that they have when they're walking down the hall. So those were the 2 audition scenes, which were kept pretty much word for word in the pilot. So I really liked it. I went for the audition, because at that time, you know, I was probably going in person every day for a different show, just a new audition. So a week later, I got a call back to meet Nathan. And I was like, this Nathan Fillion guy, he did a show called Firefly and a movie called Waitress. So I watched them. I even watched, what was that horror movie he did a sequel to?
Slither.
Yes, yeah, Slither, yes. But there was another one. It doesn't matter. I literally watched everything Nathan had done to that point. I'm not kidding. I researched him. I fell in love with Firefly, and I really fell in love with Waitress. So if anything, I was like, oh, shoot. I really find this guy charming and fun, and I think he might be really cool to work with. Now I'm a little nervous. I looked too close. I did too much. I was 13. So then I went in to meet him, and he was sitting at a kind of panel like this with Rory Zacks, and I think our director might have been there too, Rob Bowman, and a couple other people. And he stood up and shook my hand, and we sat down, and we did the scene, and all I remember is laughing and kind of like that effervescence in a soda can. You know, we just were all kind of buzzing off of each other, and I got up to leave, and I opened the door into my face. I was trying to say goodbye, and I opened it, and I went, pop, and I went, and I'll never forget, because this is the thing that stopped happening the time I turned 20. Left the room, the casting associate turned to me and went, you did such a good job. And it was like, oh shit, okay. I don't usually break that barrier. And then I had one more final callback at the ABC studio. And it was like in an amphitheater. And it was the same scenes. And I was like, what the hell do they want from me? I've already done this. And I just had no idea, and I just had to let it go. Because I was like, whatever they're looking for here, it was kind of down, I think, at that point to like 5 girls, because it was a competitive position. Everyone wanted to be on that show. And I wish I could remember the phone call, but I can't. But I booked it after that 3rd audition, so it was 3 rounds. Yeah, thank you.
And what's the difference in the auditions for you now? How do you process now?
Oh my gosh. Part of me thinks I processed a little better then, because it was all pretend. So it was really fun to move on to the next opportunity. Now I recognize how special programs like Castle, like Monk, these programs, they don't come around all the time. And you should foster and do as much as you can for the project you have to make it flourish. So that's been a big difference, but also probably came from age.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Hi, Molly. I'm Anna. Hi, Anna. So you have the distinction of being a part of something that was very important for a lot of people of a certain age, which is the Princess Bride battle.
Yeah.
Americans are really angry about that we didn't get cast in that.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
You were really funny in that, and I was curious if that is something you would, like a type of project you consider doing again, where it's like, you know, you're kind of rapping and sort of singing, like is that something you enjoy?
Absolutely. I loved doing that. I learned so much about recording music through doing that because Whitney Avalon, the incredible genius behind that, sent me the lyrics and the beat. And so like I worked on it. I wish I could remember some of it now. Like I bust bars like something. What's this? What's worse is your universe isn't immersive. Yeah. What's worse is your universe isn't immersive. Your story is only temporary. Kill yourself, eat the berries. Yeah, it's like my final line. Learning to record in studio and then that being piped in and us needing to not lip sync but actually use like full performance in the moment. So loved learning. I love knowing how things work. That's why I started producing, right? I love to perform, then I like knowing how it's made. Great show, by the way. That's a good one. How it's made. Good with that, yeah. So 100% yes. Just waiting for the opportunity. Yeah.
Well, you have a production company now, right? So
this is true. This is true. I could do a little self-starting, you're saying. Okay, I'll give that some thought.
thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Molly. My name is Leroy. First, I want to thank you for joining us here in DC. So happy that this is your first time out. I'm going to adjust this because I can't keep it over like that. You clearly have a love for Alexis, and I just wanted to share two things with you.
Please.
I was watching Castle on rewatch, and I have a now 20-year-old stepdaughter. And one of the things that we did when I first dated my mother was we would bond over movies and things like that. And then her interest kind of got way off into like, you know, the crazy teen drama stuff, which wasn't my scene.
Fun.
And then I'm watching Castle on rewatch, and she's like 16 years old. And I can't remember the specific scene, but it was one of the many like heartfelt dad-daughter moments that you were having. And she sat down and she started watching. She went from passing through the room when it was on to sitting down. And then she said, hey, how far into this are you? Can we start it over? I kind of want to watch the whole show with you. So the Alexis character in your portrayal of her kind of brought us back to having those moments where we sat down and there was something we could enjoy and talk about as far as TV. My second part is if they came to you and said, hey, we've got an idea where Alexis has taken on the mantle of crime solving.
Absolutely yes. 100%. And thank you for sharing that with me. I really love that.
Thank you for being here for me to share it with.
Of course. Yeah, get comfortable. There you go.
Shorter because I'm not as tall as you. Thank you so much for being here because I grew up watching Castle. My name's Ren.
Hi, Ren.
And my question is like like I said, I grew up watching Castle, and how much of you merged with Alexis? Because there's so much personality there. Like how much of that was you, and how much was that of you finding who you are?
It was a lot of me finding who I was. And thank you for asking this question. Alexis was allowed to be a smartass, which is something in Texarkana, Texas, I was not allowed to be. I am one. So getting to tap into that through her lens, that was really fun because I couldn't be that way at home. But it also, as I grew up, showed me, wait, maybe I can, maybe I should push back, you know? So we informed each other, I would say. Thanks, Ren. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Hi, I'm Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
What was your favorite episode of Castle, either to make or just to watch after
That's a good question. There's so many.
Yeah.
Right? We had a lot of fun on that show. My favorite is Like Father, Like Daughter, which is where Alexis is working at a firm to get a man who she believes is wrongly convicted off of death row. But her and her father are going for some stresses in their relationship, as they should be, because, you know, she's 19, 20, growing into adulthood. But she has to come to him to ask for help, and therefore she makes him treat her like an adult. So kind of to Ren's point, in my life as well, like I was learning to be assertive, and then there's a difference between asking for help and someone wanting to take over or whatever else, that you should be respected. So to me, the lesson in that episode is like cross-age, cross-family dynamic, especially when someone asks for help, respect them. And I think that's so important and something that's really missing a lot. So getting to work with Nathan as an adult, and it's also one of my favorite blooper moments, because when we were doing the scene where it's not going well and I'm pacing back and forth in the hotel room, just going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I turned to him and he was... But not a joke, he had really fallen asleep. And so you can watch this in the blooper reel. I walk over to him and I just go... He goes... And I go, you ready? And we did it. So thank you, Thomas.
Hello, Molly. I'm Calvin.
Hi, Calvin.
Like many of the other people in this room, I grew up watching Castle, and it was an honor growing up alongside you. A bit of a role model for me. But, whenever the end of the show hits, it leaves a castle-sized hole in your heart. So I was wondering how it was for you to move past it, and, what was next?
So I've thought about it, and I've decided I'm not moving on. Because I can't live without it.
I can't either.
When the unfortunate news that we weren't coming back for season 9 happened, my husband was with me. My stomach dropped out of my butt. I couldn't do anything. He had to shepherd me around for days, because it wasn't being on TV. It was this was my girl. This was my family. This was spending all of my weekdays with Nathan, which that's something that spoils you. You get used to that. And I like everything I've done. I've loved everything I've done. I've met funny people. I still would rather work every day with Nathan Fillion. That's my answer. Sorry, I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep coming here. We're going to find ways. Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Hello. I know as an actor that you have to be different people with different interests and different experiences, different expertise. What's the strangest thing you had to learn about your role?
That's a great question. Okay. This is so embarrassing. In We're the Millers, I play a gamer. It's very important. It's playing on this little Game Boy. It's how her and the guy bond. I wasn't allowed to play video games and things like that growing up, so I did a lot of fibbing to get this part. And when they handed me the thing, because they're meant to shoot it and show us live play. No idea what I'm doing. And that was part of how I was actually ruining tapes, because I would actually score just doing something in the background, because we were always doing it live, because we're in that RV most of the time, and I would, every single time, yes! And then, all right, got it, cut. Keep it down. Yeah, okay. So that for me was the strangest thing I've had to learn. So far, we'll see what comes up. Thank you. Ooh, yay, more.
Hi, I'm Harry. Thanks for coming out. I'm a little older. I didn't grow grow up with Alexis. I was mostly grown.
Understood. Acceptable.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for making this your first convention. You said that you didn't talk to Nathan a lot before coming out here. What kind of preparation for your first convention did you get, considering that every other cast member of Firefly is well into the conventions? Not that you're on Firefly, you know.
Yes, of course. Oh shoot, I'm afraid I don't understand the question.
How do you find being at the convention, and how did you prepare for what this experience is?
Thank you so much. I love it. This is great. I'm super happy. When I talked to Nathan, I mean, you know, Nathan loves you guys. Nathan has been doing this for so long. It's a part of his lifeblood. And if anything, what he said to me was, "About time, you dumb turkey." That's literally what he said to me. He was like, "You like hanging out with me? Come on, it's about time you ask." Like, I was just being silly and shy. So I'm glad he gave me the lift I needed.
Oh, great. So
Yes.
this experience is probably somewhat similar to that episode of Castle.
Except in reverse, he's dragging me. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Robin. Tell us more about like the sets that you worked on. Exotic, intriguing, exciting. You know, it's such a funny story.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's think what's fun.
Paris.
Ooh, that's the one. That's the one, right? Getting to go to Paris? Of course. I still can't believe that that's a reality. I really can't. Imagine being like 18, already doing this great show that like people are loving, and we have this very cool set, and it's well lit, you know, our costumes, our wardrobe, it's great. And now, Molly, just you and the director, y'all are going to Paris. Nathan didn't even get to come with me. I was like, oh my God, Leonard, what? Why are you here? So getting to go, I felt, and you know, I love movies. I love old French films and old Italian films, and so it actually felt very glamorous. I felt like Lauren Bacall. Like I felt just something outside of even the time that I've been, you know, doing things in. It was perhaps the closest to that old Hollywood glam that I'll ever get, and I eat off of that memory all the time. Just beautiful, being up there on that rooftop and literally seeing the Eiffel Tower right there. And part of that look in my eyes is just amazement, like, I'm from Texarkana, Texas. I just saw that Tower. Castle's how I traveled, which I always wanted to do. So yeah, thank you.
Hello, Molly. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
My name is Joelle.
Nice to meet you.
I had a question about the references or the nods to Firefly that happened in Castle. Was that all Nathan's doing, or did anyone else like instigate that?
Oh my goodness. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the room where it happened. But I can imagine, because it's his baby. So of course he was shepherding that forward and always including me in it. I mean, what, didn't you wear that like 8 years ago? So much fun. And then he can rib himself, you know? It's just chef's kiss.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for the question.
We have time for a couple more quick questions.
Okay, I can do it faster. Right here. Hello.
This will be a quick question. So my name is Zach.
Hi, Zach.
As you said earlier, you went to auditions every day, like getting into this industry. What was the hardest loss you had to take and how did you ask them?
I thought it was quick.
Yeah, that's not a good question. That's not a topic.
Because it's always like, I love how movies have turned out, you know, so it's like I would never change how a project came to be. So for me, there was an indie movie. Oh my goodness. Gosh, I wish I could remember the name of this. Since I can't remember the name, I'm gonna move there because I've had a couple losses that I'll tell you about how things come back around. So here's this one. some of y'all might know that for the audiobooks of the Mortal Instruments series, I got to voice those. I love the Mortal Instruments. I love Clary Frey. I got to audition for that show. Loved that process. Was doing Castle at the same time. We didn't know if we were going to do season 8. So when season 8 happened, and like I think I had 2 auditions, and then I found out I wasn't moving forward. So thankfully, my net of Castle was there, and we have Kat McNamara, who I think plays the best that could be out there. But I don't get over things. So I'm just kind of not giving up on some type of Mortal Instruments animated, a different character in that franchise, another audiobook. I love Cassandra, like that. I just don't give up. Thank you, Sadie.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hello.
I just want to say my daughter, she's 8, almost 9, and she loves murder shows. Appropriate murder show.
Amazing.
But she and I started watching Castle, and I just want to tell you I appreciate that Alexis was such a strong character to be a role model for my daughter. That she can see that and see that, you know, it's not like a damsel in distress, need daddy to save me all the time, but that she was a responsible person. So I really appreciate you putting your own spin on it and putting that out there. I really appreciate that. And so my question is, completely off topic, what is your favorite old Hollywood movie?
Oh my goodness. You know, I've been thinking about Sunset Boulevard a lot recently. I've been thinking about knowing that I have gas. It's just pumping and pumping and pumping. Like, I can't get her out of my mind recently. So I would say Sunset Boulevard, and there's a great Italian film from the 50s called Senso, S-E-N-S-O, about a girl who wants to be in love and gets betrayed, and it's gorgeous set pieces and costumes, early Technicolor. Criterion Collection. I love it. Thank you. And thank you for telling me that about your daughter.
We'll wrap with you. Last question.
Hopefully I can give a good one then. I'm Scott.
Hi, Scott. Nice to meet you.
So obviously you have a great relationship with Nathan Fillion. The spark between you two is you know, obvious. Besides the Castle reboot, what would be a role or character you would like to create that you would want to do with him for something going forward?
I really wish I had had that thought starter, because that's such a great question that I need to think about. Ooh, what would be fun to do with Nathan? Ooh. They need to, Ashley, I keep telling him, bring Ashley back. Like, keep bringing Ashley back. Thank you. Thank you. But I think I would want to get Nathan dirty. I think I'd want him to be like more like, I'm seeing like a broken man. I'm seeing like, and maybe some type of like Better Call Saul type situation where like I should have gotten the promotion, but they brought in this like genius mind, but he's like, you know, his fly's always unzipped. But I see his genius, so then I have to figure out how to work with him. You know, maybe like some type of dynamic like that. You like it? That sounds okay? Okay.